You ask yourself, how does someone look that good at this age? And the answer is that my hobby is Photoshop. So I'm really grateful to Dan, Meyer, and BizTimes for this recognition. Thanks very much. You know, I'm a lucky guy. I have so many people to be blessed about in my life. I have my wife, Mary, of almost 46 years this year. 3 children, Molly, Meg, and Mike, and their 3 spouses, Jeremy, Kelly, and Bill, and 6 grandchildren, 5 under 4. We're so lucky that they all live here in this great city. And I'm very proud of all of their achievements and their love and their support. You know, Milwaukee is a great place for entrepreneurs, and I can tell you that from a perspective of 30 years in this business. There's been so much growth and development in entrepreneurship here over all those years. And you know, America looks to us. I'm sorry. The world looks to us in America for entrepreneurship. It's the entrepreneur that's willing to take risks on the basis of ideas to solve real problems, to innovate, to do something better and faster. It's growing business that in turn creates real jobs. We uniquely seem to know how to start and grow companies. Our entrepreneurs have an independence of mind and a stubborn unwillingness to accept things as they are. They know how to grow their own opportunities, and they also know how to inspire people to join them. Entrepreneurs help others grow and succeed and achieve, and that combination creates amazing opportunity. They inspire others. After all, what is the American experience except the desire to make a real difference, to control your own destiny, what might be called the entrepreneurial spirit? People have come here for generations, wave after wave, because they wanted a better economic opportunity and they wanted a chance in America. They came here for the promise of freedom, for the ability to catch that entrepreneurial wave, and to have permission to fail as much as to succeed. Today, the best and the brightest are still here, and the world struggles with one economic crisis after another, but the call for entrepreneurship is clearly heard in America. It's been a privilege to be here and to watch it grow. And all of you who are a part of this should be very proud of everything you've done. I'd like to say just a few words today about what I've learned along the way that began for me 30 years ago. Perhaps really just 3 things. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. How you are is what you are. Secondly, make that first analytical step. How will this succeed, rather than looking for why it won't? Ray Dalio, the famous entrepreneur and founder of Bridgewater, says it best. He says, be radically open-minded. Seek the best answer and not the first one. And third, if you're lucky enough to get a chance to make a difference, realize it's the greatest gift someone can give you. You don't get it very often, and you ought to cherish it. I'm grateful for the many people who've been willing to help and coach me, even when it wasn't easy, as I can attest to. My own story involves a software company in marketing analytics called RTMS in Milwaukee. We bootstrapped it. We were doing marketing analytics for retailers, improving customer satisfaction and sales performance in 1989. We were fortunate enough to have customers around the US and Canada like Boston Store and Carson's and Penny's and Sears and Kohl's and GNC. And I was blessed by a hardworking team of great colleagues who pulled that all off. The company grew to 250 people in a couple of states. I was privileged to see hundreds of my colleagues put their kids through college and build second homes and achieve all the dreams they wanted. Since selling in 2000, my work has largely been in entrepreneurship, both with the Golden Angels investors and teaching MBA classes at Marquette. And the theme here is, to quote Benjamin Franklin for a bit, to the generous mind, the heaviest debt is gratitude when it's not in our power to repay it. At every step in my life, I've encountered people who went out of their way to give me a chance to do something. I thought I'd like to be a reporter when I was in college, and the journalism professor got me an internship at the Journal in 1980. Don't know, I wish. 1967. Even though I wasn't the best guy in the class. After our first child was born, Gene Medford gave me a chance to work for his 2-person company whose client was GE, and a year later, Bob Phillip hired me. and it was the best graduate experience you could ever have. 6 years after that, Tom MacArthur and Jim Marks invited me to join them at what started out to be a little ad agency, and from that came retail target marketing systems in Wisconsin and in Colorado. And that growth started because a guy at Boston Store named Ed Carroll gave us a chance to begin a data analytics program for a very big company when there were 4 of us. He helped us understand how good customer service would be the strongest possible foundation for that company, and he pushed us to a successful SaaS model in 1987. Because of the dedication of that people at RTMS, we grew steadily for more than 10 years. It was a great run. Then Bob Wild and Dave Schrock asked me to teach in the MBA program at Marquette for a transitional year that turned out to be 14. I'm not sure if that was an unemployment issue or not, but boy, it was a great time. The privilege of being in a classroom twice a week for 15 years with 1,000 MBAs is a privilege that I hope you get, that I'll never forget. I'm grateful to all those students for their willingness to engage deeply with the case process and to devote so much time and attention to the diligent preparation that that process really demands. Many have gone on to entrepreneurial careers, and I'm grateful for having known all of them along the way, some of whom are here today, and thank you. Their gift of time and attention is another one of those unpayable debts. So that's the first of those 3 things. I learned early that nobody cares in the classroom how much you know unless they know that you care. Knowing your topic is good, but in striving for excellence in the classroom, I learned pretty quickly that empathy and mutual learning was a lot more important. When we think about the best teachers, they're positive and empathetic, and that's a great goal worth aspiring to. Then at about the same time in 2002, Golden Angels grew and is now almost 200, including 60 people called Golden Angels Advisors that are the next generation, we hope, of investment advisors in our community. I'm grateful to every one of my 200 partners, and especially to Jason Graham, our co-director, and our sponsors who've been with us for all these many years, Godfrey and Kahn, from whom I've learned a lot. I always say I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on television. My colleagues at First Business Bank, who I've been associated with for a long, long time, and Quant Burnt & Company, run by Tony Burnt and Brian Quant, who have been our sponsors since the beginning. Great people to be privileged to work with. The results that Golden Angels have largely been based on the privilege to work with entrepreneurs and with all of my Golden Angels partners who provide an unparalleled amount of bandwidth and expertise on every topic. I'm grateful for their talents. They are the intellectual firepower that's driven the Golden Angels' success. They've been unparalleled to work with. And that's another unrepayable debt. And here's the second point. A positive how will this succeed orientation is often difficult to achieve, but it has consistently yielded better results than a why it won't work right off the top of your head analysis. You have to assume that every entrepreneur you meet is devoted to their venture, even if it's a concept. So the right to be in that conversation with those entrepreneurs is a privilege, and they deserve our best efforts to figure out how we might be able to help them. And I'm grateful to all of them who have been willing to come and talk over the years about all of their ventures. You know, as investors, we see many, many more opportunities than we can possibly invest in. But I've learned you have a choice about how you make that decision. You can be efficient and screen and say you only have so many hours in the day and la la la, or you can make the effort to take the time to talk to everyone who wants to talk to you and try to provide something of value. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Try and give a bit along the way. And realize that the power of the group is always better than the power of the individual. Can you imagine? I was sitting here going, oh my God, am I glad I don't have to answer those questions. Can you imagine? I can imagine going back to the founding of that company, and if I had this group of people helping me think about what we were trying to think about, along with the team of people we had, it just goes to underline how powerful that ability of a well-oriented group to do things together is. And really, this kind of giving isn't a responsibility or a pay it forward. I'd like to say it was, but it's really a privilege. The best of all worlds for me is getting to talk to all kinds of people about their ventures and aspirations and learn a lot from every single conversation. It's something I'm grateful for every day. And so that's the third and final point. Getting asked to help make a difference in someone's company or career or life is a privilege that you don't get very often, and I cherish it all the time. Thank you.